The war on planet Veltrian 7 had burned for years. Smoke curled across red deserts, and black iron plains where two great forces, the Threxan Empire and the United Human Alliance, fought side by side against an ancient machine. Race called the Varneks among the Threxans. Lieutenant Ravin was known for her precision and icy calm. She stood 7 feet tall with smooth silver-blue skin and golden eyes that never blinked in fear. Her species had evolved in constant battle, but even among warriors, Ravin was cold as a blade. She didn't like humans. To her they were strange, loud, emotional, soft creatures that joked in the middle of danger and slept through bombardments. But command had ordered her to fight alongside one, a man named Corporal Jason Reed, the only human left alive from his squad. The first meeting, Ravin met Jason in the ruins of Outpost Delta 4. The structure was half buried in sand, and a mechanical storm roared overhead. Jason was working on a damaged drone, his face smudged with grease and dust. When Ravin entered, he turned and smiled, like it was a normal day at work. "You must be my new partner," he said, offering a hand. "Jason Reed, Maintenance Corps." "Don't worry, I'm better with machines than introductions." Ravin tilted her head. "Threxans do not shake hands," she said flatly. "Right," Jason replied, withdrawing his hand awkwardly. "We can skip the formalities then." She studied him carefully. His armor was dented, his uniform stained, yet his green eyes were calm. Humans were fragile, she thought. But his spirit did not seem fragile at all. Their mission was simple: escort a mobile power core across 50 kilometers of wasteland to a communication tower, still under Threxan control. But on Veltrian 7, simple meant walking through storms of nanodust, dodging automated sentries and surviving nights that froze flesh in seconds. The march begins. For the first few hours, Ravin kept silent, her long stride easily outpacing the human. Jason followed, dragging a hover sled carrying the power core. "So," Jason said after a while, "you Threxans always this quiet, or just when you hate your partners?" "I do not hate you," she replied without looking back. "I simply reserve energy for tasks that matter." "Like walking?" "Exactly," he laughed softly. "Then I'll shut up before I waste your precious energy." But he didn't stay quiet for long. Jason talked about Earth, about blue skies, warm rain, and coffee, a drink that Threxans didn't have. He tried to explain humor, which didn't translate well through her translator. Still, she listened. She found it strange that his words made her chest feel lighter. By the third night, the two had started working like a single unit, scanning ahead, setting up small shelters, and taking turns standing guard. Ravin had never worked so easily with a non-Threxan. The strange incident, it happened on the 5th day. A Varnek's ambush forced them to dive into an abandoned transport tunnel. The ceiling shook as laser fire thundered above. Ravin crouched behind a broken column, her plasma rifle aimed upward. Jason slid beside her, panting. "Any idea how many?" he asked. "4 scouts. 1 heavy drone," she said. Jason peeked out, then ducked again. "Yeah, make that 3 scouts now." "I think I got one," she nodded approvingly. They returned fire together, moving with surprising coordination. When the shooting finally stopped, both of them were sweating and breathing hard. Jason leaned against the wall, laughing weakly. "Well," he said, "still alive." "That's a win." Ravin turned toward him and then froze. Her sharp golden eyes widened slightly. Between his legs, she saw a strange bulge pressing against his uniform. Her species had no such visible change in anatomy, and her medical scanner immediately detected an elevated pulse and blood heat around his lower body. Her combat mind reacted instantly. "Human, you are injured," she said, alarmed. Jason blinked. "What?" "I can see inflammation near your lower torso. The heat signature is rising." "Sit down before it spreads." Jason's face turned red. "Wait, no, it's not an injury." Ravin frowned, scanning again. "The sensor confirms biological swelling." "It could be infection or internal bleed." "Remove your armor. I will apply a coagulant." Jason waved his hands frantically. No, it's not that kind of problem. I'm fine." Ravin stared at him in confusion. "Explain, human." He coughed awkwardly, clearly struggling to keep a straight face. "It's a normal human reaction. It happens sometimes due to stress or biological instinct." "Instinct?" Ravin asked, tilting her head. "To combat?" "Not exactly." Jason scratched his neck, embarrassed. "Let's just say it's not dangerous, okay?" She looked unconvinced. "Your biology is inefficient," Jason sighed. You have no idea. For the next few minutes, she kept glancing at him suspiciously, as if expecting him to collapse at any moment. Jason tried not to laugh. The misunderstanding was ridiculous, but strangely, he felt a little closer to her after that, understanding that night. As they camped in the tunnel, Ravin sat beside the portable heater, silently reviewing her notes on human physiology, the glowing screen reflected in her eyes. You really studying me? Jason asked from across the firelight. I must understand your biology, she said calmly. If such inflammations occur again, I should know how to treat them. Jason grinned. You're not letting that go, huh? I do not let go of unexplained phenomena, he chuckled. Well, maybe I'll write you a guidebook. Humans 101, Step 1. Don't panic if something looks weird. She gave a low hiss of amusement, which was the Threxan version of a laugh. Perhaps your kind is stranger than the Varneks, he smiled. We probably are. Silence settled between them, comfortable this time. Jason looked at her, at the faint glow along her armored skin, the way her eyes shimmered like molten gold. She looked strong, perfect, and impossibly alien. Yet somehow sitting there in the ruined tunnel, she felt human. The enemy returns. At dawn, the Varneks attacked again. A swarm of drones descended through the tunnel vents, firing beams of blue plasma. Ravin and Jason rolled behind cover. The air filled with sparks and dust. Power cores hit, Jason shouted. We lose that, the tower's useless. Ravin's mind raced. I will distract them. You repair the core, that's suicide. She ignored him and leapt from cover, her rifle blazing. Her armor shimmered with kinetic shields as she fired burst after burst, drawing enemy fire away from the human. Jason cursed and dove for the core, tools flashing in his hands. The tunnel shook violently. A drone fired a missile that exploded near Ravin, throwing her across the floor. Her shield flickered, cracked, then died. Jason saw her fall and ran toward her without thinking. Ravin! She tried to rise, but a metal shard had pierced her shoulder. Blue blood streamed down her arm. Her weapon lay several meters away. Before the drones could finish her, Jason grabbed a pulse grenade from his belt, slammed it against the wall, and pulled her behind an overturned crate. Close your eyes, he yelled. The explosion wiped out the swarm in a burst of electric blue light. The noise faded, leaving only echoes and smoke. Jason knelt beside her, panting. You okay? She looked at him, shocked, not by the wound, but by his actions. You risked your life, he shrugged. You'd have done the same. Threxans protect the mission, not the partner, she said quietly. Jason smiled faintly. Then maybe it's time you learned how humans do it. A new respect. For the next few hours, Jason treated her wound using the small medkit in his pack. She hissed in pain once, but otherwise didn't move. He admired her strength. When he finished, she looked at him curiously. You have saved my life twice, she said softly. First from the Varneks, now from blood loss. Let's call it even, Jason replied. You've saved mine like 4 times already. She gave a small smile, barely visible but real. Perhaps humans are not as weak as I thought. And Threxans, Jason said, tightening the last bandage, are not as cold as they look. She tilted her head. Do all humans speak in such sentimental ways? Only the ones with hearts, he said lightly. Her golden eyes softened, though she didn't reply. Approaching the tower by the 7th day, they finally reached sight of the communication tower. It rose from the wasteland like a black spear, surrounded by burned sand. Smoke curled in the distance. The Varneks still hold the perimeter, Ravin said, scanning through her visor, but the signal dish is intact. Jason checked his weapon. So we just need to clear a few more machines and plug in the core? Affirmative, they looked at each other. No more words were needed, the final battle was fierce. Drones poured from the base of the tower, mechanical eyes glowing red. Jason sprinted forward under fire while Ravin provided cover, her plasma rifle glowing white from heat. When his ammo ran dry, he grabbed a fallen drone's weapon and kept firing. When her armor cracked again, he covered her flank. They fought like 2 halves of one soldier, united by something neither fully understood. At last, Jason slammed the power core into the tower's socket. The dish hummed, lights blinking to life. A long pulse signal shot into the sky, cutting through the clouds. Reinforcements were on their way. Ravin lowered her rifle slowly. The battlefield was silent except for the wind. You did it, she said. No, Jason replied, smiling tiredly. We did it. The end of the march that night, they waited under the stars for pickup. Robin sat close to the heater, her injured shoulder wrapped. Jason handed her a canteen of water. "You humans always offer water," she said, taking a sip. "It is comforting," he chuckled. "It's kind of our thing," Jason nodded. "Emotion's messy, but it's what makes us." The rescue ship carried Robin and Jason Reed back to the orbiting fortress called Citadel 13, a massive station built jointly by humans and Threxans to fight the Varnex machine swarm. Inside the ship's medbay, the soft hum of healing machines surrounded them. Jason sat beside Robin's bed while the medical drones repaired the tissue around her shoulder wound. She had refused to rest until she was sure the human was safe. "You worry too much," Jason said, grinning. "That shoulder will be fine. You'll be back to lifting tanks in no time." Robin gave him a calm look. "I am not worried. I'm evaluating your mental stability." Jason laughed. "My mental stability? I think that broke long ago." For a long moment, she stared at him. Then her golden eyes softened. "You joke even after battle. Is this also part of human healing?" "Yeah," he said, smiling faintly. "Laughing helps us survive the pain." Back at the Citadel when the ship docked, officers from both species greeted them as heroes. The power core they had delivered allowed a wide communication network to be reactivated, connecting hundreds of lost colonies. As they walked through the hangar, Jason noticed the stairs. Threxan soldiers watched in silence while human engineers cheered. Two species, once suspicious of each other, now saw proof that cooperation worked, but not everyone approved. Colonel Vorn Drak, a tall Threxan commander with scarred armor, stepped in front of them. His voice was cold. "Lieutenant Raven, explain why a human was permitted to risk a Threxan officer's life." Jason frowned. "Hey, I'm standing right here." Raven bowed slightly, Threxan style. "With respect, Colonel, this human's actions saved the mission. I owe my survival to him." Vorn's eyes narrowed. "No Threxan owes anything to a human. Remember that." Jason wanted to speak, but Raven's glare stopped him. "Understood, sir," she said quietly. As Vorn walked away, Jason muttered, "Friendly guy." Raven sighed. "He believes Threxans must never depend on others. It is tradition." "Well," Jason said, "maybe it's time for new traditions." The recovery period over the next few weeks, Raven and Jason were assigned to light duty. They often met in the training bay, she practicing blade forms, he running diagnostics on drones. They talked more now, not as partners forced together by command, but as equals. Raven asked endless questions about humans, why they laughed, why they dreamed, why they fought even when they could flee. Jason answered as best as he could, sometimes with science, sometimes with stories. One day, while she sparred with a holographic opponent, Jason entered carrying 2 metal mugs. "Here," he said, offering one. "Coffee, you said you wanted to try it." Raven took a cautious sip. Her golden eyes widened. "This taste. Bitter yet warm. It burns, but not unpleasantly." Jason grinned. "That's coffee for you. Welcome to humanity's favorite addiction." She looked at the cup again as if studying a mystery. "Your species drinks this daily?" "Pretty much." "No wonder your biology reacts strangely," she said dryly, remembering the inflammation incident. Jason nearly choked, laughing. "You still remember that?" "I do not forget scientific anomalies," she said with mock seriousness. They both laughed then, the sound echoing through the training hall, alien and human, soldier and engineer, sharing a simple moment of peace. A new mission peace did not last long. One night, alarms blared through Citadel 13. The Varnex had found the station's orbit. A fleet of enemy drones was approaching at high speed. Captain Lena Harker, Jason's superior, called the human teams to the command deck. At the same time, Raven was summoned by Colonel Vorn. Inside the command room, holograms displayed dozens of incoming red signatures. "The Varnex are using stealth mines," Lena said grimly. "If they reach the shield perimeter, Citadel 13 will fall." Jason frowned. "What's our plan?" "We need to manually disable the minefield generator on the asteroid belt nearby," Lena explained. "It's too dangerous for a drone. We need volunteers." Jason didn't hesitate. "I'll go." At the same moment, Raven's voice came through the comms. "Threxan forces also volunteer. Assign me to this operation." Lena blinked. "Raven, you're still recovering." "I am functional," she replied firmly. Jason looked at the captain. We work well together. Let us handle it. After a pause, Lena nodded. All right. You two are Team Alpha. Bring that generator down and come home alive. The asteroid field. The small shuttle rattled as it entered the debris belt. Huge chunks of rock floated around them, glowing faintly in the light of a distant sun. Robin piloted with precise movements while Jason checked the scanner. Signal's weak, he said. The generator's probably buried in that big asteroid cluster ahead. Then we land and destroy it manually, she replied. When they reached the surface, gravity boots locked onto the rough ground. The Varnex generator was a black spire half buried in dust, surrounded by spider-like drones. Jason whispered, "Looks like a nest." "Then we remove it," Robin said, raising her plasma rifle. They moved in perfect coordination, she shooting from range, he planting charges. The first explosions drew attention, and soon the air was filled with mechanical screeches. "Behind you," Jason shouted. Robin spun, slicing a drone in half with her energy blade. Sparks burst around them. A second drone grabbed Jason's arm, its metal claws digging in. He yelled, struggling to break free. Robin charged forward and struck the drone off him, her blade burning through its core. "Are you hurt?" she asked urgently. "Just my pride," Jason said, wincing but smiling. "Then continue fighting." "Ma'am, yes, ma'am." Together they fought like thunder and lightning, his fast reactions guiding the explosives, her precision cutting through the enemy lines. Finally, Jason reached the generator and planted the last charge. "Fire in 3, he yelled. Robin covered him as they jumped behind a rock. The explosion shattered the generator, sending blue fire across the sky. The minefield collapsed instantly, freeing the Citadel. Jason let out a long breath. "That's done. Mission success," Robin confirmed. "But we must return quickly." They turned toward the shuttle, only to see it crushed by falling debris. Trapped. The comms crackled with static.
"Team Alpha, report."
Captain Lena's voice came through faintly. Jason grabbed the transmitter. "Shuttle's gone. We're stranded but alive." "Hold position," Lena replied. "Evac ship on the way. ETA 1 hour." Robin checked the oxygen gauge. "We do not have 1 hour. The atmosphere here is thin." Jason nodded grimly. "Then we find shelter." They climbed into a nearby cave formed by twisted rock. Inside, faint mineral light glowed along the walls. It was cold and silent. Jason sat down, breathing slowly through his helmet. "Well, this day just keeps getting better." Robin removed a small power cell from her armor and set it on the ground. "This will provide limited heat." As the cave warmed, silence fell between them again, heavy but not uncomfortable. Truth and Trust Robin looked at Jason for a long time. "You risked your life again," she said softly. "Why?" He smiled faintly. "Because you'd do the same. We're partners, remember? Threxans fight for victory," she said. "Humans fight for each other. I cannot understand it yet. I admire it." Jason leaned back against the wall. "Maybe that's what makes us stronger together. You bring discipline. We bring heart." She tilted her head. "Heart, you use this word often. Is it the organ or something else?" He chuckled. "Both, I guess. It means courage, feeling, and kindness. The part of us that cares even when it hurts." Robin considered this quietly. "Then you have much heart, Jason Reed," he smiled. "And you have more than you think." Outside, the asteroid dust shimmered like tiny stars. The two sat side by side, not speaking for a while, simply listening to the faint hum of distant space. Rescue and recognition. When the evacuation ship finally arrived, they were weak but alive. The crew pulled them aboard and cheered as the report came through. Citadel 13 safe. Enemy fleet retreating. Back at the station, the council held a ceremony to honor both soldiers. Even Colonel Vorn was present, his expression unreadable. Captain Lena stood before them. Against impossible odds, these two proved that unity between species is not only possible, it's powerful. Applause filled the hall. Jason scratched the back of his neck, embarrassed. Robin stood tall, expression calm but proud. Vorn stepped forward slowly. "Lieutenant Robin," he said in a deep voice, "you have brought honor to the Threxan name. And you, human. You have earned our respect." Jason blinked in surprise. "I'll take that as a compliment." Vorn actually gave a faint smile. "Do so." It was the first time Jason had seen a Threxan smile. A new assignment weeks later, the war began to turn. The Varnaks were pushed back system by system. New mixed units of humans and Threxans were formed, using the cooperation model first tested by Jason and Ravin. One morning, Jason entered the hangar and found her standing beside a new dropship. "Orders?" he asked. "Yes," she said. "We are assigned to train the next generation of mixed teams." Jason whistled. "Us teachers? That's scary." She gave him a sidelong glance. "You are capable of instruction. You explain strange human things easily. Like inflammation?" he teased. Ravin sighed but smiled faintly. "Yes, like that," he grinned. "Then let's teach them how to win." The final battle months passed. Together they led missions that turned the tide of war. The Varnak's hive core, buried deep in the frozen moon K Theta, became their final target. "Ready?" he asked. "Always," she replied. The battle lasted for hours. Explosions filled the void. Jason's shuttle was hit send.